We're about a week away from Thanksgiving, which means that Christmas isn't far behind. And here at St. Philip the Deacon, that means we're paying attention to how we can be helpful to those who are in need. In this episode, I want to invite you to participate with us in that important effort. Stay tuned. Hello, friends. Pastor Tim Westermeyer here, Senior Pastor of St. Philip the Deacon in the western suburbs of Minneapolis. Good to be with you as always. A bit unusually this week, we're actually taping this on Sunday afternoon. Typically, we tape it the first half of the week, but because of some scheduling conflicts, we're doing it a little earlier than usual, which means having just worshiped for 3 different services, I sort of have that service on my mind, and maybe particularly something that one of my colleagues, Pastor Valerie Strand Patterson, said in her sermon. She was preaching on Matthew 25, which is the story about Jesus' second coming. And she's talking about the fact, and by the way, I would commend the whole service or the sermon to you. We'll try to link to that here. But she's talking about how, given that we are continuing to wait for Jesus' second coming, for Jesus' return, how then should we live? And let me actually read one short paragraph from her sermon. She says, "My friends, let's take the long view and eternity into account. Let's take care of this earth and make peace for the sake of future generations. Let's worship and pray and do justice and love kindness and walk humbly with God. Let's embrace joy and live gratefully and generously. Let's commit ourselves to compassion. Let's love one another and encourage one another and build each other up." So that, I thought, was a beautiful passage in her sermon. And so the question might then further be asked, well, how can I do that? How can I, for example, embrace joy and live gratefully and generously? And today, and I've done this a few times over the last 2 or 3 years, I actually want to lift up a couple of very specific things. These are invitations. There's no arm twisting, no expectation here. But we are, about a week and a half out from Thanksgiving now, which means we're approaching not only Thanksgiving, but then eventually Christmas. And it turns out that here at St. Philip the Deacon, for a long time now, during the holiday season, we have done what we can to try to support and care for and help those who are in need. Just this past weekend, we were talking about interfaith outreaches, Sleep Out, which is a way we support those who are temporarily, let us pray, homeless in our own community, raise awareness for that ongoing issue and raise money for it. And we also, though, do Thanksgiving baskets, food for people at Thanksgiving. And so we will provide links for how you might want to either register to participate in this or, importantly, support this. And I want to be very clear about that. The next thing I'll talk about is Christmas ministries. But in both the Thanksgiving and the Christmas ministries, there are opportunities for people who are nearby us, physically, geographically, to support those with your time and your energy and your presence. And again, you can register for those opportunities at the links below. But for those of you who are further away and might want to support these ministries, you certainly can do that with a financial donation. And so I want to be, we're trying really hard at St. Philip the Deacon these days to be aware of the people who are connected to us and are present on our, what I'll call our physical campus, but also aware of those who are continuing to connect with us, continuing to worship with us, continuing to use resources from the church, which I celebrate. We're trying to figure out ways to make sure you understand that you are also part of this community in important ways. And if you would like, again, no pressure, but if you would like to support these ministries, we would love to have your financial support for them. So again, the Thanksgiving baskets I've already mentioned, the Christmas care. We'll link again to some information about that, but it's a way that we can reach out to people who are otherwise, honestly, totally forgotten at this time of year. These are people who live in shelters. They're often estranged from their families or have no families. I get a little choked up even thinking about it now. Every single year, we get thank you notes from those individuals who basically say, thank you that that I'm not forgotten. Thanks that someone actually remembered me during the holiday season. So despite my profound disappointment that we're already halfway through November, I've mentioned this over the weekend, the last couple of weeks. I don't know how we got to November. I really don't. Therefore, my shock and surprise that we're approaching Christmas. As I said in worship this morning, it takes some time to prepare and plan for these ministries, which is why I'm talking about Christmas, and it's not even quite the middle of November. So anyway, that's the invitation for all of you this morning, to participate in those ministries as you are able, as you feel called to do. We would love to have your help, and we need your help. And then maybe if I could just make one additional, maybe a couple of different additional plugs for things. One is that the next Faith and Life event is this coming Thursday, so that is November 16th, 7 o'clock. Again, if you're nearby, please join us in person. If you're not, join us via live stream. And then final thing I'll say is next Sunday, so a week from the day I'm taping this, and I don't know what the date for that will be. Tim, what's next Sunday's date, do you think? Do you know? What is today? Today is... I should know this. Today's the 12th, so if my math is right, next Sunday will be the 19th. Sunday, November 19th, after our live stream worship service, if you are someone who watches those services online, we are trying something new next Sunday. Namely, we're having a little digital cafe following worship on Zoom. So keep an eye out for that. I don't think I'll have the link ready by the time we publish this episode, but if you watch the live stream, we'll have information about how you can join us for that. We'd love for you to be part of that, to engage in some conversation following the service. And if you have some coffee, you can have that wherever you are as well. So again, a few announcements, a few ways that you can live generously and gratefully and filled with joy. And however you can respond, we say to you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So thanks for your time today. As always, be well, stay in touch, and God bless.